ride or die. I keep boys by my side. CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. Why they wanna move like that? Why you want gone? Why you want act like that? Why you play hard? Generations caught up, look how things will switch. People there quick, now they wanna move at the quick. Boy wanna throw 10 buck, quick. Whole gang, whole man, old school, young jam, all black, MZ, still screaming out of that chain gang. Generations caught up, look how things will switch. People there quick, now they wanna move at the quick. Boy wanna throw 10 buck, quick. Whole gang, whole man, old school, young jam, all black, MZ, still screaming out of that chain gang. These brothers my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. Why they wanna move like that? Why you want gone? Why you want act like that? Why you play hard? Cold, these brothers my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. Why they wanna move like that? Why you want gone? Why you want act like that? Why you play hard? Generations caught up, look how things will switch. People there quick, now they wanna move at the quick. Boy wanna throw 10 buck.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 13 of Saturday with the Boys. First off, I'll let you guys know that we kind of took a different scenery this time. You know, with Bunny, with Death Squad, with Matt, with Baba. We were around a fireplace in the dark in Cloudy's backyard. But you know, today we decided to take it to the beach. As you can see here.
I have a question,
We're
right?
in the backyard. Yes.
I like before we get into introductions, you know, we're at the beach right now.
Yeah.
We should be sipping some pina coladas, bro. We shouldn't be sipping some beer or drinking beer. You know what I'm saying? Like, gotta watch this video.
Okay. But before we keep moving forward, Speedy, if you were at the beach right now, you would seriously ask for a pina motherfucking colada at the beach with the boys?
I mean, I'm not asking for a fucking beer, bro.
I don't know, dude. It's a Corona. Modelo.
I think Goku's got it. Coronas is where it's at.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, maybe a Corona.
Right now.
Corona, baby.
I'm just saying. But guys, everybody, welcome. It's myself. We got Speedy. We got Cloudy. We have another special guest today. We got motherfucking Dragothien here. Welcome, bud. How are you today?
Hey guys, it's going pretty well. How y'all doing today?
What's up, Drago?
Yo.
Drago. So funny thing is, once we announced that, hey, we had Drago coming on, and I did mention the trailer that the guy's a king of 916. I hope he's in the chat right now, but Skywalker, was really objective saying that he's the king. And I thought it was a serious quote, but he said he was joking around. But objectively, yeah, supposedly Drago's the king of 916.
Yeah. So when it first started, I was kind of the only, and then as soon as it got developed and we got the ball rolling, and I mean, at the end of the day, this was a project that we started as a group. I don't need to, nor really want to be the only guy. That's not my thing. So I've got a good group around me of people that help me manage the day-to-day, the maintenance, the things that get you labeled a tyrant, things like that every single day. So Skywalker's definitely one of them. Certainly Queenie. We've got Epic. We've got Lady Tammy. We've got a big crew of folks that are just kind of rolling along with it, and we all pass it back and forth. But when it's wartime, then that's when I kind of step in and take over the ball.
The OG king is Drago.
OG king.
OG.
So so before we we go into the things, I do want to have a question that I think myself, Cloudy, and the community really want to know is
sure.
Alex, is he someone that you should max as a commander? Like, is he a must have?
Damn. Oh,
That's
not
not
right, but yeah. Yeah, kind of.
So you're saying yes?
100%.
Oh wait, everybody! Breaking news.
So So let's say you had you're the king. I'm sure you handle recruiting, all that stuff. Let's say you had someone wanting to come to your kingdom, and you're like, hey, what's the commanders you got? I obviously see your desk, I see your power, and they don't have Alex. Are you like,
what the fuck?
what are you doing?
Here's the breaking news then. So if you don't have Alex, it makes me question your judgment.
Oh! and the reason why I'm asking this because I think Speedy's the only person in the whole world who doesn't have Alex Max. We can move on from this topic, but I just want to clarify it with a sponsored content creator that, Alex is a must-have. And I hope that whoever I'm referring to will really look at, their judgment in terms of commanders. All right, Speedy, you can take it on, buddy. You can take it on from now.
Are you guys done?
Just saying,
I mean, thought we were just getting started.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
I mean, first of all, you want to bring this heat right away. I mean, I'm totally ready and prepared to make a counter argument to everything that has been said. Drago, I love you. You are very good for Rise of Kingdoms, and you are very smart. This is a very, very, very bad remark on your end. Coming from someone who has been in recruiting.
Okay.
If there is someone who does not have Alex Max, that is okay. That is okay. It's not the end of the world.
You better be a
They are
Garrison
so good player.
They
They can still be effective in a kingdom, and they can
better not
still
go anywhere near the open field if you don't have Alex. Max,
bullshit.
okay?
Bullshit.
Just be a Garrison player. Is fine. Unless you're following other people who put Alex in Garrison, then no, just a Garrison player, and that's it.
Okay.
All right, Speedy.
No.
Speedy, we're gonna move on, Speedy. Just saying.
No. You cannot tell me to move on now. You cannot tell me to move on. You cannot drop this on me, and you cannot give me 2 seconds to talk, and then you cannot tell me to move on.
Go ahead.
All right, go ahead. You got a minute.
I want to get this.
Okay, thank you. First of all, coming from somebody who does not max every commander in this game, okay?
Sure.
Coming from somebody who is very hard to max every commander in the game, and you have to prioritize what commanders you have to max, okay? Way back when, I had the ability to max Genghis Khan, okay? I maxed Genghis Khan. I love cavalry.
You just answered my question.
Hold on. Genghis Khan. No. Genghis Khan Cao back in the day was the rally commander. Don't tell me that wasn't the move. Genghis Khan Cao back in the day was the go-to rally, and you cannot say that's not true.
I think it was Genghis Saladin, but continue.
No, it was before that. Before Saladin, it was Genghis
Saladin coming at the same time.
GKCC was the move, and you cannot tell me that was not the case. GKCC was the move.
I don't know if that was the move.
It was bullshit.
Open field was good.
Bullshit. That was you cannot 209, and that was the move that we did, and it worked.
I think we did Genghis YSG.
Yep.
That was one of them too. But Genghis Khan Cao was that's what Toxin literally
Keep going.
So I maxed Genghis Khan. It was cavalry. This is before Alex. Mind you. I maxed Genghis Khan. And then right after I maxed Saladin. I had no heads. After Genghis Khan Saladin. Right?
This might be a longer podcast than 1 hour.
You guys want to talk? I had no heads.
I got time.
And then Alex came next. I couldn't. I had to save backup heads. Okay. Sure, so I restocked, saving.
Yeah.
And then it came to Attila, Takeda, and Guan.
Got ahead.
They gave me seconds in the Attila MG to max him. I maxed Attila.
Okay.
I was maxing Takeda. Right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then I had
Guan. Okay, we got you. That
75. So I maxed Guan. Yep. I had no more heads.
Okay.
No more heads.
And 2 years, 2 years later happens, and still no.
And now I'm at this point.
Okay.
I am disregarding
we gotta
Alex.
Move on, boys.
I am disregarding Alex because it is just too far gone now. I am fucked. It's fine. Alex is a very good commander, but I did not get it. And now I'm maxing Ramses, and I'm 2 heads away. And Ramses and I got the fucking horn procced, and I'm ready to fucking take on the open field. Let's fucking go.
All right.
Okay.
Your Alex ship has sailed.
Yeah.
Sir Beer said, "Does Speedy always yell when he talks?" Yes, I do. I'm sorry.
Okay, but basically, just to finish off this topic, so you're gonna max Ramsey's kudos. So, Drago, like, right? Like, just skip Alex and go for Ramsey. That's the play, right?
Yeah. So here's the deal. Everybody's different, right? It's okay. Everybody has their own story. I think if you
my not story though, like where do you tell me to compensate one of those commanders
Let the man speak.
for Alex?
Let the man
Yeah,
speak.
no.
Let the man speak.
So Alex came out quite a long time ago. And I know you're an older player like I am, so we've been playing for 2 years, right? Roughly.
Yep.
Yeah. About.
And you've stopped spending as much as you used to when it was old KVK 2 days, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You muted
So
Speedy.
I totally get what you're saying. I think that if I had the choice now between getting any of the newer commanders that are not garrison related versus Alex, I'd have a hard decision to make. So obviously Zeno and Theo are world above. Those are the number one in their field. So if you're gonna have to have a garrison situation, you go with those over Alex. But Nebu maybe over Alex, but not Cyrus.
Nope.
Not any of the other ones really. I mean, William maybe, but even then, William's more squishy than Alex. I like Alex over William.
He didn't tell you that. He has William Max. I know it. So
Yes, Max William. Yes.
he didn't tell you that. So here's the thing. We're moving on with the subject.
Let's keep
But-
going.
Charlemagne must.
Speedy, there's he likes the new shiny toy. He likes it.
Yeah, sure. I'll play
He likes
with
the new
you.
shiny toy.
Well, listen. I'm not trying to yell right now, so I'm gonna keep it down now. So I'm inside voices, right? But I maxed William, yes, because I play Arc, and people say, oh, you need William in Arc to go middle. Fine, okay, I'll max William. Yes, Your Highness. Okay, and then the next thing was Ramses, Speedy, you just proc the horn, and you put it on archers. You should go Ramses looking. Why is she? Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Ramses, why is she is the move? Okay, it's like, well, I don't have enough heads for Alex. Alex is just the person outside there, just like, I wish I could max you, but I don't have heads for you. I'm not spending money to max you, so that's where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Alex is a school crush. You can never take the
Alex is the person I can never get. It's like I'm always trying
This
to
will be
get
my
that
last
all
question on the topic. So, of your 5 marches open field, how many are purple?
0.
0. So, what else are you using?
So I use
Fuck.
Attila Takeda.
I use Attila Takeda. I use
Open field. Okay.
Saladin.
William.
Saladin William,
Saladin what?
correct. Saladin William.
Okay.
Then I use
Genghis. What do you use with Genghis?
Genghis. See, that's the issue. I use Genghis Sao. Then I use Guan Charlie. And then I use El Cid. Ramses West,
Okay. Those are not bad pairs. I mean,
well, thank you.
where are you going to fit Alex at, I guess, is the question.
I wish I can do Guan. I wish I can do Guan Alex, ideally, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, fuck. I wish I can have fucking Nebu too. Like, I wish I can have all these commanders.
Sure.
So,
Man.
all right.
That was
Enough
good.
about me.
Red,
Enough about me.
Red.
Red got in my face. I'm sweating a little bit, guys. I'm sorry. I'm
The coffee's
sweating.
kicking
I
in.
was waiting for a Caesar sprinkled in there, or
No.
something like that.
No,
That's where I was gonna lay the Alex bomb. You didn't humor me, so
I know. I am very ashamed about my Genghis Khan Sao though. That has to go, and down the line, that's my next thing to figure out. But hey, I'm just throwing that shit at the wall, especially in Arc, and I'll just reload it. It is what it is.
Hey, it's all good. All right. Then that leads to Speedy. Speedy, I know it's your turn to kind of cover what's next, buddy. Go ahead.
Hoosha. All right, I'm getting back to composure. Red, that was a mean blow.
Hey,
To begin the
I had to take advantage. I had to take advantage of our guests.
Hey, he's upset because last week you said we beat him in Arc, so he's coming back.
Yeah, I had to throw a jab.
True. That's fine.
All right, Speedy,
I'll
go
throw-
ahead, buddy.
I'll throw a jab next week. All right, back to you, Drago. Enough about me. First of all, I want to kind of, for everyone to get to know you, talk about you. I know you briefly talked about your 916 experience, but the biggest thing is you have the ability to play on multiple different accounts. Not many people can play on multiple different accounts at a high level like you do. So walk me through the advantages, the disadvantages of playing in an earlier and in a later kingdom. You're in 307, of course, and you're in 916.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like about an earlier kingdom? What do you dislike about an earlier kingdom at the highest level? And what kind of style is the style the same between like 307 and fighting there, and the difference between 916? I'm curious.
So in 307, you're definitely fighting more advanced players when it comes to equipment and things like that, for sure. So I have two main accounts in 307. It's a 120 million account and then a 95 million account. It's like an alt. So I use that second account in 307 as kind of a filler to my own stuff. And then I also can pop it into another alliance and be a rally or garrison filler with that. Like basically it's just, I've got maybe 3 legendary commanders maxed on that account. It's really just for presence. It's just for throwaway stuff for other alliances that need help. Fighting between the two, it's actually pretty equal. I would say it's about the same. The kingdom itself is really what kind of makes your experience. It's not whether it's got a single digit or 4 digits. It really doesn't matter. You're going to be fighting with people that are either good or not. You're going to be fighting against kingdoms that are either good or not. And you're going to be fighting against players that either know how to fight or don't. And it's just a matter of the diplomacy inside of it. And then certainly when it comes to actually fighting, knowing strategically what to do. I think that the main benefit is obviously going to be if you're in a later kingdom and you've played this game for a while, more than anything else, the biggest benefit is going to be your knowledge of the game. If you're going up against somebody who just started 6 months ago, right? They're just not going to have the knowledge, the map knowledge, unless they're really investing some serious time in YouTube and all these other platforms to learn the game inside and out. I was one of those people when I first started playing the game. I started playing right after the game came out, maybe 3 or 4 months after, and I saw the game. I liked it. I'm a huge history guy. I'm a huge, just knowing the people like Age of Empires types games. So I was all in from day one. And I immediately hopped onto YouTube and Twitch and tried to find just stuff. Just what do I do with this? What do I do with this? Is this commander good? And this was before KVK. This was before drag and drop movement. This was before, this was around less than 100 kingdoms in the game when I started. So it's been a while. But to answer your question, it's really just, it's a matter of where you're at. 916 is different than 915, is different than 920, and 307 is certainly different than 306, 305, 304. So it's not the number, it's the people leading the kingdom.
Sounds good. And then to kind of carry over to build on that topic, I'm curious, coming from someone who you just mentioned, you had a project, you had a group of people to come to 916 to build it up. How did you build 916 up to where they are today? And what type of methods did you use?
So it's still ongoing, believe it or not. We literally just started day 1 of Marauders today in 916 for KVK3. So that's what I'm going to be doing on my Sippin' Saturday stream tonight.
Nice.
Marauders. But to answer that question, so it was a long time. What was that?
I like Sippin' Saturday. I might sip Sunday.
He's drunk maraudering. That's what's happening.
Yeah, well,
that sounds.
At least pieces together.
I can never Marauder sober, so carry on.
yeah. But so the idea came from just playing the game. Being in kingdoms, and this was after I was in 307 and had my account established there. I had 2 accounts there at the time. Then I had my main kind of floating around after 225, which was, we can get into later if you want to. But just going through the game after K16 when Ronnie and I were playing together, and I tried this same project in an existing kingdom. I went to 225 and tried to do what I thought needed to be done. And one huge mistake I made there was getting very top heavy very quickly. And I learned my lesson. We were able to take on a lot, but at the end of the day, we just weren't able to win our KVK. What at that time was 3, but it was still a normal KVK. Yeah. So at that time, also the people that were in there were people that I hadn't gotten in there. Like they weren't my people. They were just people that were just, I want to be in the main alliance because I want gold chests, and those are not my people. So, but the whole kingdom was like that. The whole kingdom. There was only maybe 200 players, 100 players that were really solid core, good fighters that I could rely on to be on the front lines with me. Everybody else was just kind of, they weren't even fillers. They just wouldn't show up. So that was a failed project in that sense because, and I realized from that, if I want to do what I want to do, which is build a super solid fighter-based kingdom that's well run and has kind of my stamp on it, I've got to do it from scratch, which is where 916 kind of the brainchild came into being. 307 is the closest thing I've found to that. They've got a little more strict of a kingdom, whereas the kingdom that I wanted to build was a little more open. So for instance, MGE is open in 916, except for one, which is a free-to-play top 10. In 307, again, they are ultra competitive #1 kingdom, right? They assign, if they could get away with it, I think if the leadership could get away with it, they would assign the top 100 spots, and they're that organized to be able to do that. So
Matt, he's a micromanager,
Yeah, well, it's not Matt.
I'm joking.
Matt's as laid back as he can get. But it's the people, just like I have my people, right? He's got other people helping him manage the day-to-day of a kingdom, which is a lot. It's a lot.
Oh, man. It's insane. What
so how did you so when you recruited to 916, you brought in a huge group at one time, correct?
No,
Okay.
So when I started 916, obviously it was a brand new account because you can't migrate to a new kingdom. So I had to start a brand new account from scratch, and we had to basically build the kingdom because just like any new kingdom, right? You've got to.
I didn't realize you went to that length. Okay. So
you guys
all created new accounts. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We started 916.
Well, so that changes the perspective view, and I'm glad you mentioned that on a lot of things. Because
the reason why I'm getting what I was getting to is with the new update, I was going to ask him, how do you feel about one person migrating every 60 seconds?
Can you do that? I mean, you would have had to have saved up passports for a long time to do that.
No, I'm saying
not one person.
Forward.
Migrating in. Got it.
Yeah, migrating in now. It's one person every 60 seconds.
It's just to make super kingdoms.
We were talking about this last podcast, and I want to get your input. Is like how 307 was built, how 401 was built, how I'm not sure too how Bunny, Bunny's kingdom was built. But how all these kingdoms were built is they brought in huge powers at the same time. I'm not sure how people can, if they're out of the top 25, how they can make their, an impact to that degree, like how 401 was, or how 307 was, and to be a top kingdom. I don't think that's possible anymore. Is there a way, do you think?
It depends on what your definition of top kingdom is. So I like the way I've built 916 with my crew. We learned our lesson from 225's KVK with us and in the KVK 3 that we had with 254. We learned our lesson, and that was obviously we needed depth. It's just like building a football team, right? You can't just have a star QB, a star wide receiver, a star running back, and expect to win the Super Bowl. You'll get the playoffs, but you're not going to win a Super Bowl with that. You need depth. So to do that, what we did was for weeks after KVK2 opened, we just let people in that were 50 mil and under. That's why our 700th ranked person is a T5 player. That's where our strength comes from. We're not as top heavy as 307 or 401 or 254 are. We don't have many big players. We've got a lot of 100-ish million players, but we don't have a whole lot of 200 mil to 1 bill, like other kingdoms do. So we have to really kind of understand where we're at, and it also hurts us too. So last KVK, when we tried to do a mass migration and before the migration change, it impacted so many players in the kingdom. We weren't able to fall out of Imperium.
Yeah.
And we were double filling hospitals. So it's going to be difficult to do anything, and especially with this 1 minute timer thing that you mentioned earlier. That pretty much puts the nail in the coffin of any kind of mass increase.
Pain in the ass. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think it's bullshit. It's bullshit, and like it's hard enough in Drago. I know that when you move people to 256, although it didn't work out, that was a lot of work on your guys' end to coordinate and to get everything to get everyone to move to 256. Like if people can coordinate that, and if they can go ahead and have the connections and they can talk to people and they can coordinate groups and whatever it is, they should get rewarded by creating a big kingdom. That's my opinion.
Well, I think the fundamental question is, right, why are we blocked from playing with our friends? Like I've got hundreds of people that want to come to 916 just to have fun in the game. It's not about being in a super strong kingdom or not about leeching or anything like that. They just want to come and play and have a good time in a well-run, organized fighting kingdom, and they can't. They have to go somewhere else, or they have to build it themselves, which isn't always the worst thing. But if I've got, if we're talking about the professional side of my gig, right, I have a job of engaging the player base and engrossing them in the content. And the easiest way I know how to do that is to get them all in the same kingdom with me and play with them and have a good time with them. And I toyed around before 916 with completely shutting down my main account's goals, because wherever I made this project, my main account was going to go. And it could have went two ways. And at first it started out a completely different way, which was, let's make a non-Imperium kingdom where anybody that wants to come and play with us as a group, as a team, can do that. The problem is that big players want that. Players that are high power and fighters want that. I've got hundreds of players that have 60, 70 million power, but 400 million kills, proper kills, because they wanted to be here instead of being the guy that's always relied upon and never given anything and taken for granted in a kingdom that's a C or D or an E kingdom.
Of course. And I misspoke. I said 256. I meant 225.
Yeah, that was awkward.
Yeah, that was my bad.
You're not good with that. You're not good with
I've never been good with numbers.
Yeah, you're not.
I'm not analytically with the kingdom.
We knew what you were talking.
You just need to fill the missing gap, which is Alex. But let's move on.
Oh my God.
I hate you.
All right, Claudia, let's keep it moving, buddy.
Yep.
All right. So we all know, and as you guys can see in chat, it's a hot topic. So just to make things clear, you made a new account.
Mm-hmm.
And you started with that kingdom. And you grew that account with that. Because in past podcasts, and also in a hot topic was people thought or people said that you had an account that, an older account, and then you went to a newer kingdom and just to bully people. So it was a fresh made account. Okay. That's actually, I'm glad you brought that up.
I moved my new account after KVK2 started. So I started the kingdom with a brand new account, did KVK1 with that brand new account. And then once migration was open, since that's my kingdom, that's the kingdom that I'm staying in long term, I brought my main account after that.
I think.
Go ahead, Speedy.
Does that make sense?
No, I think what. So I'm not sure if you listened to it, but a couple podcasts ago, a famous name, Chicken Nuggets.
He's in chat.
He went ahead and made a comment about you. So I think what
is he really famous? You didn't mention him earlier in the thing when you were listing off your previous podcast people.
He's famous.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, Drago, he was saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but that he brought up your name, and he was saying that you brought an older account to 916 to, his words, not mine, bully people. And I'm just curious, under the context of that, what was the point of bringing? And you can answer. What was the point of bringing an older kingdom to a newer kingdom? And what was the objective, or what was the goal of bringing one of your older accounts to 916 when you already had a 916 account?
Well, I mean, it wasn't one of my older accounts. It was my main account.
Okay.
The whole point of that project was to find a landing spot for me and my crew to have a kingdom that we built in our image and run it the way that we know kingdoms should be run. That was the whole project. I've got a playlist, 20 videos long of day one, starting a brand new account when 916 first opened, and a streaming when it first opened, and us trying to find a place for our first fort.
Yeah.
With that new account. And I spent a lot of money on that account to make sure that we could be the ones that ended up on the top and fit in the right way, because there were players in the kingdom that were powering up that weren't the right kind of people that we wanted there, and we weren't going to start over. So we went ahead and did what we needed to do. Yeah,
and that's fair. I think just wanted to kind of clarify, because there was things said, so I just kind of wanted to leave it up to you and kind of ask you that. So thank you for.
Well, that's the beauty of what we got here, right? You can say whatever you want, but
of course. I
facts,
wanted to hear your side, and
yeah, I think I was getting rallied by Caesar and Bark all over the place too. I can't remember where that happened, but that's what I've heard. So reality versus what people say are two different things. The video he's talking about is when I was taking rallies, and if you look at the video, it's Edward Tamiris and Alex YSG. I mean, I don't see a Barker or a Caesar in there at all. It's on video. It's literally right there. So, once we started talking in facts, it just wasn't a civil conversation. So I stopped talking with the guy.
Got it.
Yeah, right. And if for people don't know, if I'm just going to bring it up, there was a little bit back and forth in one of the chats that we're all part of in regards to the concept between migrating new accounts. So that's what pretty much Drago's addressing for the chat who's not sure, because it's a chat that gets purged every freaking week. So not many people left in there, but.
Yeah, I think people also keep bringing up the equipment, and yes, that if I was on point with my equipment, if I was a guy who had the time it takes to really get into the equipment, that would be a valid point, an absolutely valid point, and that's a big thing that doesn't need to be addressed. If you've got an older player, right? Say my account, right? Say if you have my account and you move it to a 900 a kingdom or a 2000 kingdom, right? If you are a really focused player and you went all in on getting your keeps and camps done, if you've put a lot of effort, time, and money into getting those VIP chests every week and doing all the equipment events and things like that, and you're fully geared out on legendary equipment, then that's a valid point that they're bringing up. The problem is, again, with trying to sling that towards me is I don't even fucking have a Delane's amulet, because I don't have time to sit at a keep and camp for more than 20 minutes. I've got people, and this is where my crew comes in, right? This is where my people come in. They message me and they say, hey, I've done the keep and camp for you. Here is a fragment for one Delane's amulet piece. And then I have to decide whether I want to log in at that point in time and teleport over to the camp and get it. Like that. That's the only time I get that stuff. So the best stuff that I've got is maybe 3 legendary pieces, but it's all Cav. So I know that I personally have not been using Cav on my garrison. Sun Tzu and YSG has been my garrison for the longest time, because I haven't invested in the newer commanders yet, Theodora and Zenobia, although that is coming. But I don't have legendary equipment that would make that a problem. So again, I hear what some of the folks that are saying that stuff are saying, but again, it doesn't apply to me. I'm sorry that unfortunately that can't be a weapon or a stick to be used in the argument, but every single thing that's being brought up is just not accurate or factual or living in reality or any of that stuff. So again, once that conversation switched from reality to fantasy, and there was no back and forth, no civil conversation, that conversation just, I don't feel like engaging it at that point in the game or on Facebook.
Fair enough.
Sounds good. Yeah, dude, I heard. What'd you say?
I hate fucking Facebook. I'm just saying, in general.
Dude, Facebook's
like in general, or like the Rock Facebook?
In general.
Yeah,
that's a whole different topic that I'll get heated on.
Great. Used to be really good.
All right, Speedy, there's
really-
our heat. We'll mention it.
Actually,
You're pretty-
another thing I do want to add on to that too. So, just a general thing, right? There's a lot of things about people saying about people who are in much older kingdoms migrating to new kingdoms in general. I'm not saying to build a kingdom, right, or whatever it is, or like what you did, but just in general, like, hey, I'm from Kingdom 2 and I migrated to 2020. There are a lot of people are saying, hey, that's some pussy stuff to do if you're just to go into an older kingdom, a newer kingdom to fight noobs. Like, what is your take on people wanting to take their account to a brand new kingdom, and just in general?
Well, I mean, is it fair? I mean, the question is it fair or is it right? Is it fair? Probably not. That's the game mechanics. If the game wants to address that, which I think they should, for that purpose, I think that they should definitely look into that. And like the most recent immigration changes should have also kind of went backwards, and not the way they did, but maybe flipped it, so that people can leave earlier kingdoms if they want, but can't come to them. I think that would have been the right move there. I was kind of surprised, and I said that on my reviews for the immigration patches. I was kind of curious as to why they didn't flip it. It was an exact opposite of what they wrote. But is it fair? No. Is it the game that we play? Yes. Do I feel like I'm big enough of a deal to tell somebody how to play their game? No. So I personally am never, and I say this to everybody in any kingdom that I'm in, whether I'm leading it or not, that I'm not going to tell somebody how to play the game. I know people that just have made new accounts in new kingdoms, and it wasn't even bringing an old account, but made new accounts in a new kingdom and just did it to bully people, like just did it to 0 players. Like that's all they did. And that was fun for them. And again, that reminds me of early rock, right? Like when you first started and everybody was enemy because you didn't know anybody, you didn't know the game, you just saw somebody over there farming and you wanted their stuff, right? So people do that without bringing new accounts or old accounts into the mix. So I think that the comment of if you bring an old account to a new server, you're a pussy. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it's definitely a catch-22 because yes, you do get to, if you've been really invested in your account and building it up from the things that differentiate players right now, which is equipment, which is maxed out legendaries, especially after KVK3, since basically every commander's open since day 300. That's when it starts to get really interesting. And really
it's part of life. And I mean, I know what you're saying. Like, it's just the same thing that goes with the fourth grader that got held back, right? And they're throwing a 90-mile-an-hour fastball in 4th grade when they should be in 5th grade, right? Everyone says that's not fair.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, it's just life. It's just life.
Yeah, I mean, for me, at the end of the day, I mean, I think it's a big disadvantage. I mean, advantage for someone older because, like, imagine me. I have VIP 17, right? I'm going to a brand new kingdom. Hey, fuckers, I'm here, bitches. And then.
Well, what about this? What about if, like, because obviously passports are a big aspect, and like, you guys brought up a good point. Like, wanting to play with friends, right? I think everyone's on the same page with this. That this game is why people play because they enjoy the people they play with. I think everyone, and also it's a good game, but that's what maybe what they do is, like, obviously we're in 401. Maybe they give half off passports if you go into an older kingdom to a certain range and make passports, obviously maybe more the same if you go to a newer kingdom or more expensive, just to maybe have people go into older kingdoms. I don't know. It's a topic, but
at the end of the day, it's a mechanic, bro, right? It's a mechanic in the game that people have the option to do. There's nothing that we can do about it. People have their opinions, perspectives. It is what it is. Just want to get people's take on that and your thoughts. And then I appreciate you saying what you did, because it's something that probably does need to be addressed down the line, because I can't be going into a 2000 kingdom with a ring of doom and a fucking dagger and saying, "Hey guys, I'm here."
That's the difference, man. Right. So if you discount all the heroic anthem equipment, which again I have no heroic anthem equipment, my main's not done heroic anthem yet. So if you remove the heroic anthem equipment, it becomes a lot more fair. Still, it's obviously if somebody's got a full set of the wasteland equipment, that's obviously better than somebody who's got nothing but purple and blue stuff.
Yeah.
Totally get it. 100% accurate. Again, life's not fair, but those are things that are you can address a little bit easier because a proc epic equipment is a lot closer to a regular legendary piece than when you start to get into the heroic anthem stuff and the level 50 stuff. That's when you really start to see somebody who can literally just walk around with a 310,000 troop army and just see stuff just bounce off of him. That's where the stuff starts to really make a big difference. And that I agree 100% agree on. I don't think you should be able to use heroic anthem equipment unless you are in heroic anthem season, personally.
It's like me walking around heroic anthem with max tag against everybody else. That was the best time of my life. Just saying.
Well, you could do that. You can purchase that for a nominal fee from Lilith. You can purchase that.
Yeah. All right, well, we got 20 minutes left. Speedy, Drag, do you have anything you want to say, or Red, or should we just open up the chat?
Actually, someone did ask a good question, and I don't know if you want to. Something I definitely want to ask. What are your obviously there's been a movement for the last month and a half, right? Bob has led that movement about changes within the game. People are calling it the free-to-play movement. I think that's what I'm hearing in chat. Like, do you have any opinions on that? I don't know if you said anything in your streams or in your content about the whole movement, but just want to get your thoughts and perspective on that, Drago, if you have any.
Sure. I did do a video because people kept asking me every day about Baba's comments. So I did a video on that. But it's kind of funny. I mean, for months before that, I've had probably a dozen or 24 videos asking Lilith to change things. That's where my Drago rant videos came from, because we were getting all these fucked up patch notes where they were trying to eliminate the AoE dead from YSG. They were trying to just do all these different things that just didn't make sense to the game. And I totally agree with a lot of the changes that have been said in this new movement. I don't know if it's necessarily a free-to-play movement. I do spend into the game, and just like everybody else, right? You spend your hard-earned money, you want a quality product. I don't think that whether you spend or whether you don't spend changes the fact that some of these things need to change in the game. Like I mean, we're going through it right now. Day one of Marauders. I mean, the gem drop rate is a fucking joke. It's barely worth it anymore. Some of the things that made the game really fun are no longer fun because of a lot of the changes, and really just I think the game going more towards equipment has really started kind of jump starting all that. I mean, obviously all the changes that have changed that people want changed back are because of equipment, whether it's materials or whether it's fragments. So I think and until they decide to make equipment not as much of a big deal in the game, I don't know if necessarily anything is going to change when it comes to that stuff. Even if they do revert some of the things back, it's never going to be the same until equipment is not part of the day-to-day.
Well said. I think the equipment, I mean, obviously the equipment it's
a new T-set.
Huge aspect.
And again, that's what I'm behind. I mean, I'm way behind on that stuff. Like I said, I have nothing. I've contemplated streaming for a week straight just to sit at freaking keeps and camps. So I can get one Delane's amulet. Like I know. I got different accessories. I got nothing. So
Speedy's got the horn.
I got that motherfucking horn procced.
Yeah, this guy over here is like, yeah, proc my horn.
Yeah, I don't got fucking Alex Max, but I got that fucking horn proc.
I did. So on my 307 account, I did proc my rifle, my lance for the.
Wow, nice. Hey, I proc the bow.
It's like 26% or something like that.
Yeah. Wow, I'm 1 for like 16. So it's either way. I got 1 proc out of all the legendaries I have.
That's like you at the free throw line.
Excuse me?
Oh, sorry.
Pardon me? I'm sorry. Okay, pardon me. Sorry. So, Drago, question. If Lilith had made a quick update, like, hey, you know what, guys? You can only have 1 account now in general. Would you choose to stay 916, or would you keep your 307 account?
Well, that would be a terrible business decision and terrible in multiple different ways. But the main reason, there's 2 reasons I have that many accounts, right? Yeah. So nobody should have that many accounts. I don't advocate this at all. I do it because I have the means to have the upkeep for the accounts, and I want to play with my friends. Yep. So I mean, I've known Phantom for years, and we've played together for years, and we started really playing together at KBK2 when we took down White Tigers and K50. And,
219, baby.
Yeah, 219 all day. So that that started our relationship, and we've been really close friends ever since. So I like his style, I like what he does, and how he fights and how he thinks about the game. So I've always stuck around with that guy and hung out with him probably more than many other people. So
Yeah, he's a great guy.
I had, in my opinion, I had to have an account with him to do the things that he had going on. And I also wanted to help showcase kind of the things that he was doing, because obviously 307, just like 916, has some special things going on in that kingdom that I thought people would like to see. So from a content standpoint, it's a win-win for me. I get to fight with a really solid kingdom and solid players, and I also get to showcase the content on my channel, and hopefully that leverages more people coming my way from a view standpoint. So that's a win-win for me. There's no downside. If I had to pick one, just out of guilt, it would be 916, just because, I mean, I brought people there. I said, hey, this is my final kingdom. That's why I'm bringing my main account. I'm not taking my main account anywhere else. This is our kingdom.
Yeah.
Come and join me. And that would be the reason I would stay there. Otherwise, again, I mean, it would be a toss up.
Yeah, I assumed that was going to be the question, right? I mean, the answer. I mean, like, you built the thing from freaking ground up with 2 accounts there now. I mean, you had to choose.
Yeah.
And then go ahead, Claudia.
Oh no, I mean, it's just kind of, like you said, it would just. I mean, it's not going to happen, right? Lilith's not going to say, hey, one account only. But I agree with you. And I don't even manage the accounts. I would do the same thing. So
yeah. So wait, one last couple things before we open up the chat. Drago. So 916's in KVK right now. Do you guys have any good matchups? I obviously I don't know who you guys are fighting. I don't know if you guys knows, but expect a good fight coming up? Like, what's happening?
So let me kind of give you the thought process behind how I paired up my kingdoms that I partnered with. So we partnered with 913, which we partnered with them in KVK 1. And they were a solid team. They weren't necessarily the strongest team, but they were a solid, like, you could rely on them to do their part. They weren't throwing, everybody around, because they didn't have a whole lot of heavy players, but they had enough to do what needed to be done, and they were decently coordinated to the point where they were able to beat people who were just paying to win. The other two were kind of a toss-up, because every other kingdom in that bracket's a Korean kingdom, and I don't have a whole lot of ties to Korean kingdoms. I just don't, and we couldn't obviously pick other A kingdoms with Light versus Darkness. It's A triple B. So we were trying to figure out who we were going to go up against, because we only had 2 allies last KVK, so it was a 3 versus 5, and this KVK, obviously, it's 4v4. There's no way to go around that unless you completely circumvent the rules, which there was talk of, if we partnered with another A kingdom, to go 2 A's versus 6 B's. That was a plan that we had maybe had, to really kind of have a solid, weird, unique KVK. But we decided against it, and then we didn't end up even getting matched up. So it didn't end up working out that way. But again, in our bracket, we just don't have anybody in our league. It's just we built 916 solid, man. I mean, we just built it solid. So yes, we're overpowered. Yes, we have way more than any other kingdom, and maybe any other 2 kingdoms combined, especially if we're talking B kingdoms. Mm-hmm. But wasn't that? I mean, doesn't everybody have that opportunity? Like, I didn't break a rule. I didn't, I didn't cheat or glitch the game. I didn't do anything that anybody else doesn't have access to do. I just built it the right way. Learned from my lesson in 225, and really went all in on how to build this kingdom with really solid depth from the ground up. And like I said, now we're up to about 700 or 800 players that have T5. It wasn't that way when we started. It was more like 400 or 500. But again, because the way the kingdom was built, and we're constantly in growth mode, people are growing. People are growing.
And I know that 1846 just is now a new Imperium Kingdom. A lot of movement that went over there too. Is that group in the same bracket as you guys in general?
I don't think so. I don't think so. No, because they would be an A kingdom. We would match against them likely.
Is there anyone that can compete with you guys at that level, or like
in our bracket?
No, I'm just thinking like I know your bracket, but I'm saying like I'm just thinking out loud. I don't have this answer, but like with you guys being so strong, is there any kingdom in the relative realm that has similar power to you guys, or is just
some people are saying 1930 or 1945 in the past were like competition for you guys or something.
Like for us, the reason why I'm at like for us with 407, or 401. See, I'm very bad with numbers. We have 307. That's competitive. We have Bunnies. Don't know the number. We have Bunnies Alliance. And we have a few others that can compete with us. Is there anyone that you guys can compete with, like, or is it just you need to be like 1v9?
It wouldn't need to be that, and so anybody that thinks that any kingdom, any of the kingdoms you just mentioned, or any kingdom in this game can go 1v whatever, it is insanely stupid. There's no way to do that. Doesn't matter how strong your kingdom is, you're going to be grinded down into nothing. We had toyed around with going 2v6 last KVK, but just looking at the numbers, I mean, even though we were overwhelmingly taking on 2A kingdoms solo and winning in a few days, it was still a hard fight, and there was still strategies that were employed that without those strategies it would have been weeks worth of fighting and killing flags. So there's just no way to do that. So there are other kingdoms. So 1945 is getting popped up in the chat quite often. Dom, thank you very much. That's an Indonesian kingdom, I believe. They are very similarly built to us. 1930 had reached out to us very early on in the process, even during KVK1, wanting to partner up if we ended up being in the same bracket. They were wanting to kind of do the same thing we did. Obviously, that fell apart. If y'all saw some of the civil war that's been going on there recently, so it's not always rainbows and sunshine, right? I mean, to do something like this, it takes effort, it takes organization, it takes the right people. So 945 is probably the closest. Around us, 846, if they're Imperial, to be honest with you, anything before 80, I haven't kept my eyes on because they haven't been in our bracket. They haven't been trash talking us or anything. And I haven't really just heard too much about them. So I haven't really kept an eye on it. But if there's an Imperium kingdom in a late kingdom, that means they've gotten heavy weight coming into the kingdom. So certainly something to look at. But I don't think that we could take on a 307, for instance, right off the bat. I think it would be a hard and good fight, but I think the combination of them having commanders that we don't have, and I think our arcs in 916 kind of prove that out. I mean, we don't have Nebu, we don't have Cyrus, we don't have any of the heroic anthem gear. Like I said, the heroic anthem gear is really key. I think we might have one or two people that have heroic anthem gear, and that's because they just migrated in. They were used with tickets. That's it. So the bulk of the people that are in 916 just don't have access to the latest stuff. So it would be a really good fight. Us versus 307, us versus 401, us versus 254, even us versus any other kingdom that's early. But at the end of the day, if those kingdoms were run and built right, they're going to have a massive distinct advantage with the heroic anthem gear. If it wasn't for that, I could maybe overshadow the Nebu loss, because at the end of the day, there's commanders that you could pair up to kind of overwrite that. But you can't overwrite a Proc Torn, man. You can't overwrite a Proc Dagger.
Speedy.
What a dick. Proc Torn. Get out of here.
Who these fucking elves? Proc Torn, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I heard that putting the Proc Torn is really good on putting on Alex. Just as a thought, but. All right, look.
I'd love to see 254 1v9, by the way, and I hope that Bunny backs up Nugget's mouse.
Oh, hold on! Breaking news.
So he's gonna go 1v9 in heroic anthem. I can't wait.
So
that's the only way.
So
that's the only way you can go 1v9, right? Because there's only 8 kingdoms in every other type of KVK, so it's gotta be heroic anthem.
2 things before we go to chat. Lambo.
Dumby, thank you for the donuts. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, guys. Really do.
So,
appreciate the good words too as well.
Yeah, Chicken Nugget said we can 1v9, and then Drago said I'd love to see that. I think you can do that in Strife of the 8, right? No, that's 1v8. You're right. It's 1v8.
I would be significantly impressed if they 1v anything. Just because, again, I mean, we can't do that. There's 8 kingdoms worth of people, 9, in his example, 9 kingdoms against his kingdom. I know 254 is deep. I know they're strong. I know they've got Bunny. But 225 had them on the ziggurat door with 4 other like alliances going against them the whole time. So I mean, I just don't see it. I'm sorry. They're strong. They've gotten stronger. That was a long time ago. But I don't think any kingdom in this game can go 1v more than 3. I think 1v3 is probably the max. I think 916 could do that. 255 could probably do that, depending on who the 3 are, right? This is for any of them. 401, again, 1v3. If in those 3, it's 254, 307, and 916, there's a hard no. Nobody can go up against those 3 or any 3 combination of those bigger kingdoms.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this: we did like 1v, or it was like 1.3.
No, we did 2v9. Yeah.
No, it was like 1.3.
Sure.
That wasn't a full kingdom.
That's
Like
true.
They had one alliance that was on for 7 hours, and then they were gone.
Because all the
Like, let's spit facts. That's true. Like, it's 1.3, maybe 1.4 v9, and we put up a good fight, but we lost.
I mean, technically, I don't think we lost. We didn't get Zig, but I still got my 2 coins, and I still got the equipment that I wanted. So in a way,
Redline, you can justify it however you want to do it. At the end of the day, we lost.
we didn't get Ziggurat.
We got a lot of rewards, yes, but at the end of the day, we lost. But we have 5 minutes left. I wanna hop into this new channel, Drago.
Sure.
Yes.
I heard, this new channel. Tell us about it. Why did you make this new channel? And we'll kind of just go from there.
And the link is in the description below, guys. By the way, Drago socials in the description. Please make sure to check it out. Go ahead, Drago.
Sure. No, thanks. I appreciate you bringing that up. So it's something that I literally just started yesterday. I started the channel maybe a week ago, but content that went up there yesterday. So a long time, and for those that are here that have been a part of what I've been doing the last 2 years as a content creator, I'm a trained chef in a previous life before I got into business management and things like that. So I have a cooking tooth, and I've always joked that's how I got my family, because my wife liked my cooking. So I on my channel I had a thought of cooking the kingdom, and I might still do that, where we have civilizations in this game, right? Maybe picking a civilization once a month or once a week or once every other week, and doing one of their signature cultural cuisines. And I've got some of that stuff lined up. Yeah. So, but the story behind the channel really is centered around kind of like what I'm doing in 916 with trying to build a solid community of fighting players that basically talk on the field and not on a forum with their mouth. And it's kind of the same thing with this channel. But it's centered around really keeping yourself accountable from a fitness perspective. I'm the heaviest I've ever been, ever. I was telling you guys before the stream, I used to be 180. I used to be fit. This was before I met my wife and had 4 kids. And since then, alongside of a very sedentary gaming lifestyle, some numbers have been added to that. So what I wanted to do was really showcase getting back to my normal fitness weight and getting back healthy, because I do have another child on the way that we just found out a week and a half ago.
Congrats, brother.
Congrats.
Thank you. I'm going to need more than congrats, but thank you. I'm going to have a basketball team now, so zone defense isn't even going to work anymore. So I wanted to showcase that journey. One, because I wanted to, if there was anybody out there like me, which I feel like there's probably more than quite a few of people out there who are gamers, who either you're married or not, kids or not, but you're at a point in your life where you want to get a little healthier, whether it's significant or not. It doesn't really matter. I've got a way of eating that when I was healthy was really the best way that ever made me feel and helped me get to the weight that I was at that point. And what we're doing is basically we're cutting out all non-processed or we're cutting out all processed foods. So If it's in a box, if it's got a label with 20 ingredients that you can't understand, it's not happening. It's going to be meat and greens basically.
Wow.
And
Love it.
we're really getting tight on that. And I think it's probably as close to like paleo or keto or low carb in general. I don't think there's really a label for it because we're eating meat, we're eating greens, we're eating carbs, but any carb that I take in is going to be from a leafy green vegetable.
Right.
So that's the idea.
Awesome.
Keeping the carbs low, but if the carbs that I do have, they're going to come from high nutrient sources like spinach and kale. And things like that.
Nice. Well, like I was
Chat.
telling you guys. Oh, go ahead, Claudia. Claudia, go ahead.
Oh, and the reason why, and just so everyone knows, it's not to, don't know much about it, but there's carbs in vegetables. So when people
Yeah.
think carbs, it only comes from rice. Oh, that's what Drag's talking about. The vegetables where
Yep.
the carbs come from.
Yep.
FYI.
Everything but meat really, and even some meats have them, but everything
Yeah.
but meat has carbs, and it's a matter of is it a complex or a simple, and where does that carb come from? So,
Well, Drago,
seemingly-
like I was telling you guys earlier, but if you make any food with no dairy, no wheat, and no corn,
Oh,
I will
God.
make it. Okay, and I will eat it because that's in my diet. I don't eat that stuff. But
well, I did post the breakfast that I made on there already. If you want to,
I already saw that.
I saw
I'm
that.
gonna tune in. I'm gonna tune in, and link is in the description, right?
Yep.
I already saw it.
I'll
Looks
make
good.
sure to tune in. Sounds good.
All right, guys. So
Hey, if you want,
go ahead.
maybe we could have a partnership, Drag, with if you guys want to do like the meal prep. You got the food, and maybe I got the exercises at the gym. Talk offline, bro.
Okay, Cloudy, calm down. Okay, calm down.
All right,
Okay,
sorry.
Cloudy, calm down.
My pre-work,
Right.
Okay,
my pre-workout's still in me. Sorry.
get right.
What was the Fast and Furious pairing with Rock and Mark Wahlberg? What was their names?
Oh,
Riggs and something?
no pain, no gain, or something pain and gain, or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, Pain and Gain.
Yeah.
You do that.
There we go.
So I'll be the Rock. I'll be
Yeah,
the Rock.
okay,
because- clearly, and then you can be Mark Wahlberg. Drago, is that you? Yeah.
What am I, the camera guy? Speedy, I'm
gotta
the
be
camera
good,
guy.
buddy.
you're the lighting guy. You can shine the
Oh,
light.
yeah, I'll be the fucking lighting guy. Yeah. Perfect. Sounds good.
All right,
Is this
guys. All right.
lighting good enough for you? Is this lighting good enough for you, Drago?
So guys,
Hey,
again,
come on.
Drago's channel. So again, if you guys don't know, Drago is a sponsored rock content creator. Correct, right, Drago? To make sure you're still sponsored, right? Because I know people are losing their sponsorships all the time. So you're still sponsored.
Yeah, I'm hung in, man. I'm still plugging away and going strong.
Nice.
Yeah, he's still a sponsored rock content creator. His link in the channel for that is below, as well as cooking channel is listed in our description. Be sure to subscribe, check it out, check out that journey. Speedy, you want to finish it off?
Yeah. Well, first of all, Drago, good luck on that channel. I'll make sure I'm tuning in. And like I said, anything that fits kind of the Speedy diet, I'll be sure to make that. And I also thank you for coming on and taking some of your time. I know that, you do a lot of sipping Saturdays and you carve some time with us for the podcast. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
And then, just on top of that chat, thank you everyone for watching. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. We are at 795. Is that correct? 795 subscribers?
I mean, not bad for it in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to 1,000. Let's shoot for 1,000. And then if we get to 1,000, we got to do something special.
Well, if you guys do 1,000, he'll max Alex. Let's do that. All right, chat. Feel free to like, subscribe. Drago, thank you again.
I did not
Thanks,
agree to
guys.
that. We got to think of something else.
All right.
It's already on YouTube.
Have a good one, guys. All right. Peace out, everybody. Take it easy.
Ladies, guys.